This first one here is in Delburn, Alberta. You might have seen one of the postcards that we've been giving out regularly, showing and depicting the pictures here. So Delburn had their manhole right before the lagoon was consistently clogged. They had issues with the sludge. It was pretty full. You could see the floating sludge on the side. It was quite gray, looked very inactive. There was very little flow from one sill to the other and quite full. They were having their inlet to the lagoon flushed on a regular basis because of the sludge had been going up into their manhole and their splitter box between the two lagoons. So they got an estimated survey come out to, or a company to get an estimate on removal. It was way outside their budget, over couple $100,000 for removal, plus management of the sludge disposal. So we jumped in there and helped them with some product and some consulting to help them. And we were able to remove and reduce the sludge by 71% in 1 year. So they did surveys before and after with a sludge judge and a TSS sensor, and we're able to see that they reduced their sludge by 71. You can see the difference in 2016, the color. Wow, like it was exactly the way the lagoon should look, and they were very, very happy. And now they've moved on to a maintenance just to maintain it from then on. So save them the cost of dredging, saves almost $100,000. Plus, then they had to figure out a way to dispose of it. So very successful for them to manage their sludge. This one here is quite a famous ActiZyme picture, kind of quite a few years ago, right back in 2009, where we first started working in Africa. This here, as many might think, the picture on the left looks like dirt, but it's actually a municipal lagoon. That's municipal sludge that is built up over decades. Again, probably overpopulated, so their flows were high. Nature did not break this down very fast at all. In fact, it overgrew it. All the plants and everything else were on top of it. The sludge was so compact that Bill Powell, one of our colleagues here at ActiZyme, put his weight on the sludge right near the pipe. I don't know why he'd want to do that, but he did. He risked it by putting his weight on that, and he almost felt that it was very strong, very compact sludge. And within 4 months, only 4 months of treatment, it liquefied the whole thing. So obviously here, their temperature is a lot higher, right? They're able to treat more effectively because the ambient temperature is so high, their water temperature is so high. Where everything in Canada takes about a year or so, maybe a year or two to work. There, within 4 months, they're able to get the results that they need to. So cleaned up their sludge here. Fantastic change, very dramatic. This is one in Ontario that we wrapped up here just about a year ago. This is in Bruce Mines, Ontario. There you can see the before and after. So their issues and concerns were connected to their effluent. They were reaching the limits of their regulated discharge, and they had lots of algae outbreaks covering most of or almost completely the lagoon. So their nutrient levels were quite high. The sludge levels were really high. And so we treated the system. And you can see they did a sonar before and after. And you can see the compact sludge and the non-consolidated sludge both drop significantly. It was a huge change. Cleaned up their cells. And the year after, there was very, very minimal algae. It was just a little bit in the one corner. So it had improved significantly. And we'll talk to their effluent improvements later, but they were able to reduce their sludge by 6,800 cubic meters in 1 year. Saved them over $125,000 just in removal alone. Incredible results. This is one here in Alberta, Castor, town of Castor. We just finished this one. We did the survey here just in, I think it was May. So they had two different outfits come out and measure the sludge. We came in and helped them in 2003 to 2004. And this is their system now. It looks incredible. Before it was quite crowded and visible sludge buildup. So they had decreased their sludge or increased their capacity by almost 3,000 cubic meters. That was a 73% reduction in 1 year. On top of managing, and that's the other point here too, is we're also managing the sludge during those years. So this one particularly was measured 2 years later. So there's typical buildup over 2 years that wasn't included in this. So they already reduced their sludge significantly by that 73% on top of that loading that they had for 2 years from the town. So a significant improvement. They were overjoyed with it. They decided to do a second year, even though we had reached the target. That was the goal, was to reduce about 2,500 cubic meters. So they already reached their target, but they wanted to keep on going because they wanted just to get it down to nothing. But they definitely had some, I don't know, enough success to really improve their capacity. So this is one we have here in the MD of Willow Creek down in southern Alberta. So we did this project with them, with Blaine in the town there. And you can see here, lagoon. I only had room to show you just the one lagoon. This is the west, they had an east and west lagoon. You can see that the sludge was all the way up to 40 inches. So it was coming up. This is the inlet. So it was building right in the inlet and filling up significantly almost the whole lagoon. And by the end of it, end of treatment in 2024, these blue and orange ones are 0 to 10 inches. So just a small skim of buildup at the bottom. And yeah, so they've been using ActiZyme regularly and to maintain the system as we are treating, as well as we did the significant treatment with the AZ Plus to really hit it down. And now their lagoon was like crystal clear, like it was crazy when they were taking their samples. We were present that day when they were doing their assessment, and often they were coming up like, "Oh, I don't see anything," and so there was a really impressive results when they saw the reduction of sludge. We did a project in Bow Island, even further south. Here, their issue, they had a mat, about 18 inches floating mat across the whole top of the cell. So there was no aeration, there was no sun, all blocking. It basically went septic, went really bad. They had well over, thousands of cubic meters of sludge. And within 1 year, they removed 5,000 cubic meters, saved them over $210,000, what they were estimated to remove all of that sludge. So as William Lyons put it, who was the operator at the time, not only doesn't ActiZyme doesn't do exactly what they'll say they do, it does more. So he was quite an advocate for it. It really improved their system and reduced their sludge significantly. So as you can see, the pattern here is there's sludge buildup, and within 4 months to 12 months, we're able to reduce the sludge within the goal that we've set, so that we can accomplish the reduction of sludge, increase the capacity of their system. This is one here in Vibank, Saskatchewan. So in Saskatchewan, this one here, they actually saw that it was sludge mounted outside of the water. They can see it mounded, rose above the water. And so they contacted a company for removal, and they were quoted about $60,000 for do it. It only cost them around 11 with ActiZyme's products, and within 1 year, removed the sludge mound completely. In fact, I remember presenting this at a conference in Saskatchewan, and the operators had changed. So Garth wasn't there anymore, and someone else came in, and they came to me and said, "Oh, I don't believe it. I don't think this happened." And I was like, "No, seriously, this is the results." And he said, "Well, I'm gonna go back and drain my lagoon and see if there's any sludge there." So he did that. He came back the next conference and said, "And you're right. I drained the lagoon to the bottom. There's nothing there." And they were able to completely reduce all their sludge. So they were committed on an ongoing basis to maintain their system after we were able to reclaim it. They too had some major issues with their effluent quality, and that was one of the reasons why we approached them to help them, which we'll talk about later. Then here's some international ones, some projects that we did in Honduras. So we have a foundation helping people in different areas in the world. Here, this is from coffee processing water. The smells were so bad. They were actually being told that may have to shut down some of these wastewater lagoons from operation because it just filled the whole town with a horrid stench. And so these sludge here, you can see before and after what totally reclaimed. It looked like a fishing pond afterwards. And only in 4 months, completely digested all of the sludge. Now the water could be reused rather than being discharged into a river and polluting the river, continuing to pollute the rivers, or even through the water table, which could also be a pretty negative impact on the ecology and the environment around them. So quite beneficial for them to be able to reclaim. Again, 4 months because it's in really, really warm climates. And then this last one here, another one in La Paz, and you can see around the edges just the thick, thick sludge that was causing some really significant issues. So they here with this one, the the smell was significant. The pHs were incredibly awful. They could not pump it and reuse the water. It absolutely killed all plants and life. And so it caused massive issues for treatment. Had nothing to do with it. They actually had to wait every year to wait till it seeped through the ground and evaporated so they can go in. Then they ended up going by hand and manually remove the sludge. So I actually saw it happen at one place. Now I don't know if you operators would ever want to do that in Canada, is go down at the wheelbarrow and manually remove the sludge in the wheelbarrow. But that's what they had to do. So I saw guys, no t-shirts on, right? Because it's so hot. Gum boots, that's it. No waders. In the middle of all this decaying organic matter with a shovel and a wheelbarrow, and that's how they were cleaning it out. So the amazing thing is now they don't have to do that. They haven't had to do that since we've been helping them. So it's been now, I think we're in our third or fourth year starting with them, and they haven't had to desludge their lagoons. So they're so overjoyed that, especially the operator, the new guy, right, doesn't have to go out there and actually have to go and desludge the lagoon and by hand, which is an awful smelly job to do. So this, and then we'll talk about their effluent quality as well in a minute, but the impact here is huge, right? They don't have a lot of electricity, a lot of money to manage the processes, and so they want something simple and natural, easy to use. So those are all the sludge projects we wanted to highlight so you can get an idea of that. Regardless of where we go in the world, the capacity issues are number one impacted because of the sludge volume, right? There's a certain loading from the population or the process that goes into it. That sludge volume goes up, it affects everything. Your nutrient levels, it affects odor, affects treatment, proper treatment. So by managing that sludge level, either on a very consistent, proper maintenance, or by coming in and reclaiming the lagoon and reducing the sludge, that you're able to reach your target treatment that you like.